Ugh. Ugh. I tried. I really, really tried. I want it stated for the record because I had somebody accuse me of not liking the original Fantastic Beasts because I wasn't a Harry Potter fan. And I want to state for the record that is absolutely 100% not true. I love the Harry Potter books. I really do. I think they are one of the most fascinating stories, one of the best takes on the destiny-driven hero, interesting characters that evolve over time, 7 unique stories that come together to make a cohesive whole. I love the Harry Potter books. I've never read them. I've listened to them on audio. I have the unabridged things read by Jim Dale, and I listen to them. I'd say I listen to at least one of the books at least once a year. If not, those times when I get into a groove and decide I'm going to listen to all of them. So I think it's safe to say that I have read the Harry Potter books, I would estimate at least 20 times each, with ones like Half-Blood Prince and Deathly Hallows more so because those are my 2 favorites. So I like Harry Potter. I would say I'm a dedicated fan of Harry Potter. Maybe not a fanboy. I'm not as dedicated to it as I am to things like Star Trek or the Muppets or things like that, but I do really like it and really respect it. And I think that the 8 original movies, while flawed, while some of them were not as good as they could have been, all together come and make a cohesive whole and make an overall good viewing experience. There's none of those original 8 films that I look at and go, oh, God, I gotta watch that, So when the first Fantastic Beast film came out, I was hopeful, because what I was hoping is that we were going to get a little bit greater exploration of this wizarding world that had been set up. We were going to see what it's like in America. We're going to meet other wizards, different times. I thought the film was going to be a very simple story about, a magical zookeeper whose animals get out and he has to go collect them before the authorities catch them. Very simple, very straightforward, and I was like, I'm on board. And what we got that, but we got this underplot of conspiracies and Grindelwald, and by the way, I'm going to say that right now. I pronounce it Grindelwald because that's the way Jim Dale in the Harry Potter audiobooks that I've listened to, as stated, pronounced it. Also, I call them the Lestranges, not the Lestranges. So that's me. You can get on my case about proper pronunciation if you really feel like you have to, but that's why I'm going with this. We get this weird crap with Grindelwald and, some kid with a dark demon living inside him, and, all this and that and the other thing. We get Eddie Redmayne basically doing, as I said at the time, and I stand by it, a poor man's 11th Doctor, because his Newt Scamander is just Matt Smith's Doctor, right down to the bow tie. Look at the costumes; they're exactly the fucking same. Anyway, so I was not as thrilled with the film. I thought it had some good parts. The characters of Jacob and Queenie, loved them. Loved everything about them. Thought they were charming, wonderful, an excellent, very unique screen pairing, and I wanted to see more of them. My good friend Eric Hayden was in the movie as a cop, and I thought that was just a thrill. And I think that's my biggest criticism of this film, but we'll get to that in a second. But I wasn't thrilled with the picture as a whole. I felt it was a wasted opportunity, and I asked the question, Why do we have to tie everything back to this same big story? Can't we have just a fucking standalone movie? Why does everything have to be a bigger, badder? And the answer is, of course, the Marvel Universe, honestly, because that's the way cinema runs now. Not to take anything away from the Marvel Universe, I love it. But that's the way we go these days. Everything has to tie into a bigger story. And ironically, even though Harry Potter was doing it in the movies first, still nobody has done a cinematic universe better than Marvel, even though the Harry Potter, the Wizarding World, or whatever you want to call it, had a 10-year head start on it. But I digress. So anyway, this one comes out, and I'm going, okay, they're going to stick now to this secondary story that they were planting seeds from in the first one of Grindelwald and his rise to power and all the stuff that was always hinted at in the books, but never actually commented on. It's like, okay, that'll be cool. All right, fine. Maybe this, will help. And they couldn't even do that. Don't get me wrong, this movie is about Grindelwald and his rise to power. But it has 47 other motherfucking plots, all running, sideways, elongated, horizontal, vertical to the main story. You can't track anything. These people are introduced whom we're supposed to, I guess, have extensive knowledge of, but don't. And this is a weird thing. I don't like to get too nitpicky, but new things introduced now contradict shit that happened in books and other movies and all that. It's like, and it's not like this was written by somebody outside of the canon. J.K. Rowling wrote it. How is she getting this shit wrong? Oh. I often wondered, when the original Harry Potter movies were coming out, I'd already read or listened to, I'm going to say read, it's easier, read the book. So I knew what was going to happen. And from number 1 through 3, they follow the book fairly well. 1 and 2 really follow the books well. 3 starts to deviate, and from there, because the books start getting longer, we start getting a lot of cuts and a lot of omissions and, bridges and all that stuff. None of that took away from my enjoyment of the films, except in Half-Blood Prince, but that's another story, because I'd already read the book, so I already had the backstory. But I always wondered, what would it be like watching some of those last couple films without the prior knowledge that I already had? Would I be lost? Would I not understand what's going on? Would references and things not make as much sense to me? Would I not get as much out of it? What would that experience be like? Well, now I know. It's this fucking movie. Because new characters, new plots, new this and that are introduced out of nowhere, and we're addressed like we're supposed to already know all this shit. Things like, okay, the creepy Credence kid from the first movie who had the dark goo inside him, he's back and everyone's chasing him because he's of course the ultimate weapon, the ultimate power, whatever the fuck. So he's trying to figure out who his mother is for some reason, which leads us into this weird almost triple plot twist with the Lestrange family, the daughter of which was Newt's girlfriend at Hogwarts, but is now going to be engaged to Newt's brother. We'll talk about the brother in a second. Newt's brother, who seemingly has a half-brother because the Lestrange father kidnapped his mother, impregnated her, didn't love the daughter who was Newt's girlfriend, had got another wife, had another kid. That one, the Lestrange daughter switched out with another baby who died. It's all over the fucking place. And all of this is for characters, half of the characters we only just meet and who barely get an introduction. again, looking at the original Harry Potter films, when a new important character was being introduced, Luna Lovegood or Horace Slughorn or something like that, they got a proper introduction. Hi, this is Luna. We get moments with Luna. Not with how Luna affects Harry or how Luna affected Harry's past. It's this is Luna. This is how she affects the status quo going forward. And then she did that. And then Luna was a friend and we all loved Luna. Seriously, if you don't love Luna, fuck you. Anyway. But here it's like, hi, here's this person. You already know this person. You already know why they're important. They're important to Newt, so therefore she's important to you. And you're just like, what the fuck? You know, we're introduced to Newt's brother, who he has a strained relationship with. But here's the funny thing about that. We have absolutely no idea why. Aside from the fact that his brother is now going to marry Newt's ex-girlfriend, aside from that, we have absolutely no context for why these two don't get along or what the problem is. His brother seems like a nice guy who's trying to help him out and trying to say, hey, stop being a dickweed who constantly flouts the rules and then expect everyone to do what you want them to do. You know, but because of that, of course, he's sold out to the system. You know, it's so we don't get any background for this shit. So that's that. And the problem I have with this movie, and why I think I like it even less than I like the original, is that even the good things about these movies are minimized. We don't get to spend enough time with any one plot or any one set of new characters to gain any kind of appreciation for them. Jacob and Queenie are back. Yay, I was so excited. And then their story gets sidelined for the 14 other fucking stories, so that the tragic payoff of it at the end, which is good. I liked where that part of the story was going. I thought that was a neat choice. Doesn't get the emotional weight it should. We see Albus Dumbledore, again, now played by Jude Law. And Jude Law does a great job. It's always fun to see Dumbledore. Dumbledore is a great character. And his relationship with Grindelwald is very fascinating. In case you didn't know, okay, and I don't think anyone doesn't know this, but just in case, Dumbledore is gay. J.K. Rowling has said this, and if you go back and read the books, there are hints. You know, Dumbledore is gay. And he had a relationship with Grindelwald. Okay? So they have a very difficult relationship, and it makes it interesting. But that's not given enough screen time even. Dumbledore's sidelined, and we're just like, okay, you know, and that's the problem with a lot of this. And again, blame the Marvel movies for it, because the Marvel movies know how to do this shit, and clearly nobody else does, is that everything in this is baiting for the sequel. This film feels like just setting up the pins for the sequel more than any other Harry Potter movie or Marvel film or anything. That's what it feels like. Check the boxes to get ready for the sequel. And fuck them. This is what makes me the maddest. You fucking want to see the sequel because you want to see how all this pays off. You know, so I hate that. I hate that I am mad at this movie, but I still want to see the next one. I hate that. You know, like with the DC extended universe or cinematic universe, whatever the hell you want to call it, I go see those basically just to do these reviews, just to have something to bitch about. That's kind of it. I really have no joy in any of it. You know, I don't really want to see Aquaman or anything like that. Just like, well, all right, let's go see what kind of a train wreck this is. But now it's like, I didn't like this movie, and I still want to see the sequel. It's like, how the fuck does that happen? I guess, you know, yeah. Anyway, so nitpicky shit even more is that, you know, Nagini, the snake, Voldemort's snake from the originals. apparently isn't a snake, just a giant snake. No, it's some kind of magical person who's cursed to become a snake, kind of like the wizard equivalent of a werewolf. Only at some point, aside from the fact the actual wizarding equivalent of a werewolf, Remus Lupin, I get, just in terms of their mythology, I guess, a woman who is going to become a snake at moonrise, or when she becomes a snake is very unclear, and at the end of the film, Nagini's on the good guy side? How the fuck does that work? Is she like the Mystique now from the Days of Future Past X-Men, because Jennifer Lawrence was a huge star? Now Mystique has to be the center of everything and a good guy, so Nagini's a good guy now? How the fuck does that work? Also, Dumbledore was the Transfiguration teacher before he became the headmaster. But here he's the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher? Again, nitpicky shit that doesn't affect my outrage of the film as a whole, but does in a way, because it's like, J.K. Rowling wrote this! And I don't know if she's going with the concept that these movies are a different canon than the books, that these movies are in canon with the other movies, but not necessarily with the books. I don't know how she's thinking this, but it's like... So yeah, this movie is a mess. And as I said, I tried, folks. I love the Harry Potter universe. I love the world of it. It is a fascinating, awesome, fully realized, fleshed out world that's lived in. The same thing I love about the Star Trek universe. Okay, it's multi-layered. So saying that I did not like this movie, it doesn't give me any joy. This isn't one of those films that I'm bitching about and going, ha ha ha, is this fun, giving a bad review. This hurts me in a way. I wanted better. And what also sucks is I know I'm going to be one of the few people saying that, because diehard Harry Potter fans are going to love this film no matter what. So is it all bad? No. There are some good things. I've already talked about some of them. Jacob and Queenie are back, and I love those two characters. And their story, even though very minimal screen time and didn't get the chance to be explored as much as it should have, is still the thing that's keeping me coming back. I want to see what happens with these two characters. I love those two characters. Jude Law as Albus Dumbledore is a really good casting, and he does a really great job of it. I like, even though again he didn't get a lot of screen time despite his name being the fucking title, Johnny Depp as Grindelwald did a neat job. A different villain from Voldemort, a different plot than Voldemort, but still very, a good villain. It's nice to see and I like that they at least haven't yet, aside from Nagini, they haven't tied everything back to Voldemort or Harry Potter. They haven't, those two characters specifically. I like that the film doesn't do a lot of name dropping of, oh, hello, young Mr. Weasley, or, oh, hello, Neville's parents. That we haven't gotten any of that yet. For the most part, the characters have been fairly separate, and I think that's a smart move. I'll say that Eddie Redmayne's, I keep calling him Redmayne's Newt Scamander doesn't annoy me as much this time. He's toned it down a bit, so he's not doing as much of a Matt Smith impression, but it's still there. Though it is one of those things, and I guess it is kind of in keeping with the themes of the films and the books of, heroes coming from unlikely places, is I keep wondering, why the fuck is this magical zookeeper Dumbledore's ace in the hole? What the hell? Why is he why is he our hero? I don't understand it. I would understand it more, again, if he was just the magical zookeeper who gets swept up in it all, and, is just, some bumbling fool, and, kind of like a Lou Costello, so like Jacob, basically. But no, he's one of Dumbledore's agents, and Dumbledore sent him to New York in the first one, apparently, and did all this shit. It's like, why? Why him? It doesn't make sense. I'm sure they'll go into it more, but it doesn't seem like, the character doesn't seem to fit. And I gotta say, folks, I'm gonna say this too, I'm not gonna say what it is, because I'm sure some people are gonna think it's the most gotcha moment ever, and they're gonna gasp and go, oh, hoo-ha! So I don't want to ruin it for those people. But this film has the stupidest plot twist at the very end that I have seen in a long time. When it's happening, I'm sitting there going, no, they're not gonna do that. No, I haven't had that kind of a reaction since Blofeld turns out to be James Bond's brother and Spectre. Okay. And again, I'm sure some people will just go, oh my God, oh. Me, I'm like, you've got to be shitting me. Really? Really? How? So, yeah. But let's talk about the real nail in the coffin for this movie. There's one thing about it that just irritates me, is that while we didn't need another fucking 47 plots going, the most important plot from the first one gets no resolution. We have no idea what happened to Eric Hayden, the cop. Where is he? I went to this looking forward to seeing the continuation of Eric Hayden's story. Didn't get it. They got to be saving it for the next one. They've got to be, because, how can you... I want to know what happened to that cop. I want to know. That is the most important character in these films. And no screen time. None. Not even a mention. Not even a mention. That just pissed me off. Alright, so we got to do this. And it's... God, I said it before. I'm saying it again. I'm starting to feel like a broken record here. When I talk about the final grade for this one, final grade for this one is a C-. It's a C- because I couldn't get into it, and I wanted so badly to get into it, and I just couldn't. It just didn't work for me. Maybe starting to sound like I'm not gonna say that, never mind. But, maybe when they do the next one, they'll finally streamline these plots a little bit and give it one focus, one story, and, not try to tell 47 fucking stories. They'll deal with the characters we have and not try to introduce us to a whole world of new people without any kind of, lead up. So that's what I'm hoping. I hope that happens. So yeah, but only at the end of the day, I gotta say, not a fan of this one. So C- for this. Alrighty, well, that's a great way to start out the Thanksgiving Day festivities, even though I'm still like a week away from those. Still a lot of movies to get through on this break, so bear with me, because we're going to spend a lot of time at the movies together. So until next time, which will be later tonight, drive safe, and I will see you at the movies.